A ton of the connections that are still resonating and working for me now was from that one time that Jesse Lee brought me to LA.
My first roommate was a raver, and she was going to raves between New York and New Jersey.
We like set up 2 trash cans and a door we found in the trash as turntables.
Oh my God, I mean, I'm going to show you something insane I just found.
Hey there, it's me, Roxy Cottontail. You might know me as a DJ, artist, designer, and New York City party promoter, or from my bunny logo. I'm putting all that on the table and writing about the years that transformed music and the New York City scene. I've interviewed 250 friends and colleagues I admire. I ask all and reveal all. Please join me and the Tales to rediscover the 90s and the Y2K magical landscape of music, art, technology, and streetwear. This is Roxy's Tales.
So, for the record, why don't you introduce yourself?
What's up? My name's Curt Cameruci. I'm also known as Flosstradamus. And yeah, I'm here with Roxy. I love it.
Awesome.
My guest this week on Roxy's Tales is one of the hardest working producers and DJs in music, Flosstradamus, also known as Curt Cameruci. He pushed the trap genre into the EDM stratosphere, but we dive into the early days of Floss as a duo with Josh Young and the first party they started in Chicago. How South by Southwest used to be like DJ summer camp and all the scenes in between who helped evolve it from camp to culture. Without further ado, here's Flosstradamus.
How did you start DJing?
Oh my goodness. It went back to like when I was 15. My brother bought 2 like pawn shop turntables and a Gemini mixer that had a little sampler in it. He's older than me. I used to skateboard and BMX and all that stuff, and I tore my ACL. So I was just like locked indoors for a summer, and I just started playing around with his turntables while I was just, all my friends are out skating, doing things. And I was like, well, I'm just going to try to do this. And I was messing around with that little sampler, and I was like, oh, I can make my own music. And then that just kind of snowballed into me going on and moving forward with like the whole DJ thing.
Yeah. Do you know where your first paid gig was?
I mean, I was doing raves in Kalamazoo, Michigan, where I'm from. And I was probably 17 maybe or 18. And I don't even know what I got paid. Under maybe $100, if that. I was playing raves back in the day where people would donate like canned food and they could get in for cheap. So like it was barely any money. So I probably got paid in beans and like $50. I don't know. That was my first gig.
Wow. What were you playing at these raves?
So I was kind of doing what Flosstradamus is known for. And I was doing this like, it was weird, a hybrid of playing hip hop. And this was in like the mid to late 90s. So I was playing sets of hip hop, mixing it with drum and bass. So I'd play like a whatever hip hop song at the time, I don't even know, and mix that with a little bit like a drum and bass drop. So I was doing this like thing, this hybrid of like a hip hop with the EDM or whatever of dance music at the time. I was playing house. I played like Cashmere's Percolator. I play Ganja Crew drum and bass stuff. And then I tried my hardest to be a turntablist. So I would try to like beat juggle and stuff during that time. So just like a mix of everything, just trying to figure out what my sound was, what I was into.
Yeah, I feel like there was a lot of like jungle records that like the Fugees or like, you know, there was a lot. I have tapes that I, you know, took off Napster, things that I recorded for myself. But then when I moved to New York in 97 to go to Pratt. Yeah. And also the drum and bass scene was like very big there. And I feel like a lot of popular songs are being edited and remixed to appeal.
That Fugees one was dope. That When You're Not drum and bass remix was like so huge. Oh, I love it.
I know. Well, that's what you're saying. Like, you know, the bigger hip hop records that kind of like went into that territory.
Yeah.
That stuck out. And it's crazy like how big the drum and bass scene, like I wasn't really in that, but I knew.
My first roommate was a raver, and she was going to raves between New York and New Jersey. And then my second roommate was Justine D, who started Motherfucker and then booked Studio B eventually.
Yeah.
And so, you know, she opened my eyes to like a much broader nightlife business sensibility where I was like, oh, I can sleep until noon and wear heels and DJ for cool kids. This is awesome.
Awesome.
So When did you move to Chicago then?
So I moved to Chicago in 2000 actually. Yeah. So yeah, I was born in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and I was kind of DJing around there. And Kalamazoo is the exact middle point between Detroit and Chicago. So when I was a teenager, I'd go play Detroit or I'd go play Chicago. And then when I started to when I ended up graduating, I just moved down to Chicago. It was like the better of the two cities for me at the time. And then, yeah, I started doing that. And I kind of actually, when I moved to Chicago, I kind of quit DJing for a bit and just stepped away from it for a while until we started doing Flosstradamus in 2005.
How did you start Flosstradamus?
Yeah, so like I said, I hadn't really been DJing for that much, but I had friends that knew I DJ'd and they were throwing parties and they kind of DJ'd and they're like, hey, do you just want to play? So I was like, all right, yeah, I'll DJ a little bit. So I literally dusted off my old records, bought some new stuff, started to get back into it in 2004. And then in 2005, I met Josh, who started Flosstradamus with me. And we ended up throwing a party at this Grateful Dead bar in the middle of Boys Town, the gay neighborhood in Chicago. It's this weird Grateful Dead bar, just stuck in the middle. And it was really cool. That place was just an open environment for anyone to come. So everyone would show up. To be hip hop kids, hipster kids, gay, straight, black, white, everybody used to come to this little bar in the middle of Boys Town. And that's what we started Flosstradamus for. We just were all right, let's make a night and let's kind of make a group. And so it was just Josh and I back to back. And when we first started playing it, we were doing all vinyl sets and 4 turntables, 2 mixers, all vinyl. It was crazy.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. I mean, vinyl's really the only starting point prior to 2005. So
yeah,
when Serato came on the scene, which technology is a big part of this story and how it shifted the culture for us and everyone. What was the night called?
It was called Get Out of the Hood. Yeah. And the reason why because it was out of the hood. It was totally different area of the city that people partied in. So
is Sonotech West then?
Sonotech is West. Yeah, it's a little south too. Yeah, that was the other club that
that was where I first played.
Oh, that's dope. Yeah, it was cool. That was a really polished, nice club for Chicago. But it wasn't near all the downtown clubs. The downtown clubs weren't accepting of the younger generation and what you were doing or what we were doing. The downtown clubs are just either house or hip hop, and they just kind of at first weren't accepting that. Sonotech was more of a polished club, but it accepted everyone. And yeah, that's where you first came. Chromeo first came. It was such a cool environment for that.
This was at Lumen. This was later on when I met.
Oh, yes. I remember that flyer.
You do?
That's crazy. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I was looking for the other one that's pre-meeting all of you guys. Also, was Get Out the Hood monthly, weekly? How often did it happen?
Yeah. Get Out of the Hood was a monthly. And yeah, that's all it was. I think it was the second Tuesday of the month or something like that. But yeah, it was a monthly.
And so where else were you going? Did you DJ outside of Chicago at all at this point?
Yeah, so that Get Out of the Hood party started getting bigger and bigger, and then people started to hear about it. And I remember it was so crazy. Even Steve Aoki came to visit and see what it was, and Frankie Chan, and a bunch of the word had gotten out that it was this poppin'. It was the one in the party to go to in Chicago. And then I think that kind of came back to LA, and people them jeans brought me out. So the first time I came, they couldn't even afford both of us. It was just me solo doing a Flosstradamus gig in LA. Very first show ever. It was Jesse Lee, who runs Dub Frequency.
Yeah.
He brought me out there.
He brought me and the Cool Kids. It was the first time I met Chuck and Mikey. Was the first time that we played in LA together.
That is so
with Jesse, yeah, at Roxy.
That's great. Jesse's always been on some next level stuff, and I know him from Chicago because he used to live in Chicago throwing drum and bass parties. So to bring it full circle with the drum and bass, that's how I know Jesse. He moves to LA and starts that, and he links up with the LA scene. And because of Jesse Lee, there's so much of my career that has happened, which is weird. I'm just now realizing a lot of that. But he brought me to LA for the first time. I did a solo Flosstradamus show, one show for him. I met Adrian Martinez, who managed Mastercraft, and he runs Undocumented Management now. I met him through Jesse that first time I came to LA. I met Matt Huang, who brought me into Teamwork, who I'm managed by now. I met Them Jeans. I also played his party that time. All from that very first time I came to LA. That was a ton of the connections that are still resonating and working for me now was from that one time that Jesse Lee brought me to LA. And I didn't even realize that till just now, how much of an impact that one time meant on my career. That's wild.
Wow.
The Get Out of the Hood party kind of is what made us start to tour a little bit. And then we started touring regionally around like Wisconsin and Indiana. And
This
then,
was at Studio B.
Yes.
I'll send you this folder too. I have some pictures. This is
Oh
from
my goodness, I remember
from
that
that
flyer
night.
too. Yes, there's Spank Rock. Is that Cosmo? Yeah, it's Cosmo. I don't know who the other dude in the hat is right there. I'm just grilling. There was a, oh my God, yes. Oh, Pace Rock, that's Pace. Oh my goodness.
Pace and Cosmo were explosive, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And they made it a battle. That was the weird thing. They made it a verse. So like I came with like a battle thing. Like I made like a diss record. Like I made an edit and like diss them. I forgot what it was. It was like this weird thing.
Hilarious.
But they made it a verses, but when we got there, it was all love. And I made this diss record. I felt like such an asshole. I was like, oh, I thought this was a battle.
This is a battle. That's great.
But no, that party was so lit.
Studio B for me also was like the first real big room that I played. And I was like, oh shit, I could do this.
That's
Me,
dope.
I don't know if it had like that impact for you. You were probably already playing bigger rooms by then.
No, it was big. No,
Yeah,
it was so
big for us.
Yeah,
I feel
no,
like.
it was. It really
Yeah.
was. It was like it was a huge venue. It felt like a venue, like too. Like a lot of times we're playing these small little hole in the wall things or loft parties, and this was like, whoa, this is big sound system. It was, and the lights were dope.
Yeah. And you mentioned like the word of mouth traveling to LA. I mean, Jesse was already kind of like your homie, but
Yeah.
this was because of the boards, the blogs, like I know you were on the Holler board.
Yeah.
But what else were you on? I mean, like what were you?
Well, for the Jesse Lee thing, I had a connection with him. He had my number anyway from back in the day, and it just worked out. Like the buzz had been happening at Flosstradamus, and I think he was just like, oh, I know this dude. I'm gonna bring him out here, and it just worked out. I don't even know if I made money. The crazy thing is that time too was the first time I got flown out for a gig, and so I was in my hotel room for the first time, and I was like, holy shit, I can do this for a living. I can go around the world and do this. And so I quit my job. I came back to Chicago, quit my job, and focused on music because of that one time.
What were you doing?
But yeah, I was, so I have a degree in design. So I was working design, like little design gigs, and also working at Whole Foods at the same time. I was like double gigging and doing the DJ stuff. And I also was selling mopeds, fixing and selling these vintage mopeds in Chicago. And that's how I met Holt and all them. And we can get into that.
Oh.
But yeah, taking it back, like even to the boards and stuff. So like word of mouth was happening, but the Holler board was kind of the thing that started bringing us internationally, like up to Montreal for Peer Pressure. They had Pop Montreal Music Festival, and they brought Flosstradamus and Kid's sister out, Josh's sister. And we played like Pop Montreal was kind of like South by Southwest of Canada in a way. And they brought us up there. And then that also through the Holler board is where we met Cosmo. And Cosmo actually, we had gone down to Austin to play South by Southwest, and Matt and Kim had brought us out there to play a show with Frankie Chan, and we like set up 2 trash cans and a door we found in the trash as turntables, and we had talked to Cosmo and all them like, come to this party, and that's where we met Cosmo, Spank Rock, Ayers, of course, a bunch of people. Then that one show at South by Southwest, we met everybody, Frankie Chan, all those people.
Yeah, it was like our camp.
Yeah, it was. But it was all through the board. We had known everyone through the board initially. So we kind of had this connection and friends. It wasn't as awkward. We kind of had a little bit of like a relationship. So when we met everyone, it was just like natural. And I think that helped when they met us and they saw that we could DJ, etc. It was like, all right, let's make it happen. And yeah.
I started going in 2005, and I think my last year was 2012. But I went the last year I went, it was like JCO and I were booked for like some cloud storage, but like the media South by Southwest, not the music. Like the week before, there's like
yeah, I remember.
a film and tech or what, I don't know what it is.
So that was the cool thing about South by is we would as DJs get booked I don't know if you did this, but booked the week before or whatever, that weekend before, and get money. Those are the paid gigs, but then the actual music week, you never got paid. Yeah. So for us with Josh and I, we would try to make enough money in that first weekend to pay for the hotels for the whole week so we could stay to actually get fans and play the showcase shows. Yeah. That was like the whole South by week until about 2012. Like you said, we stopped doing it in 2012 too.
Yeah. Yeah. The 2012 gig, one was for this JCO and I on this cloud storage thing. And then Brisk did like the Ice-T did a party with Just Blaze, me, and Mobb Deep. And that awesome. Was, I know, like, talk about like, wow. Yeah. Even like, it's hard to blow my mind. We've seen a lot of things, but you're also in like a 250 cap venue and you're like, what?
No, it was such a unique era. I don't know. It was like, it was pretty much like people's playlists live. It was the weirdest mesh of people. I'm trying to think. I played with some weird people during that era and at South by. It's like, what?
But all of those years were amazing. And it was like our camp reunion every time. It just was. I actually found a video of, I think they did a chocolate sundae party. That's the Miami skate party.
Yeah.
But they did it at Beauty Bar. I don't know if you were there or not, but Holt DJ'd, and I have video footage. They did like skate trick contest in Beauty Bar. Like completely like not probably legal and definitely a liability. Like anyway, it's great stuff.
That's what the era was. I love it. Like, I don't know, I'm going to get a little old heady, but it was like, that era was just so open-minded and just so, like, you could do anything. There was no restrictions to and it seemed like, and like, that's what it was. There would be these shows of multiple genres, people skating in the club, and like, it was just such a cool time. It was, I don't know why that was so innocent and just like everybody was merging. And I'm older, but I don't know. It doesn't feel like that doesn't happen as much anymore. Like it doesn't have this like just multiple cultures just coming together and everyone's just open for it and they're cool with it.
So when did you guys switch to Serato?
So this was kind of funny. I was an early adopter to Final Scratch. So Final Scratch was it ended up becoming Tractor later, but I forgot who made it. Anyway, it was the before Serato. It was one of the first like MP3 things. I've always tried to like I'm like really into tech, like even NFTs and stuff now, like I'm always into tech. And so I was like, there's this thing I can DJ with my computer. And so I got it. It was this weird UFO looking thing. You patch it all up. It barely worked. It was so janky. And I brought that out to our first event. And so Josh was still using vinyl. I was using this Final Scratch thing to play the ballet funk songs and the Be More songs that we could only get through the board or like online. Like there wasn't vinyl versions of this at first. Like they weren't pressing the Holotronics versions of it yet.
Yeah.
And so it was cool. We would play a couple of the songs we had on vinyl, and then I would go play the exclusive stuff through this. And then that was 2005. And then Josh ended up buying Serato. And so it was Final Scratch Serato for a bit. And then I was like, I need to get on that. And so I ended up getting Serato maybe at the end of 2005 or maybe start of 6. And yeah, ever since then, I haven't looked back. I'm still on Serato to this day. I love it. Like it's for what I do, it's perfect. Like I love it. So
you want any other boards besides the holler board?
I'm trying to think. Like, I mean, the holler board was such a prominent thing. I mean, I was on like other random boards that didn't really pertain to music. Like there was a local Chicago one called Mauled by Tigers that was just like it was just like the holler board, but it was like a local Chicago one. But that was more like punk kids. And so I was actually in a band called Hyper Viper, and that was through the Mauled by Tigers board. So I was doing that, and that's where I met Matt and Kim. That's where I met I kind of Frankie Chan was on that too. So I met them through that other Mauled by Tigers message board too. So I was in multiple ones. I mean, if you want to talk about a board, MySpace was like the one that made my whole career and stuff pop off. That was the board in a sense. Like that's like the thing that like really pushed it.
Definitely started posting, like you were on the bulletins actively. You were posting your music remixes. Like what were you posting on?
Yeah. So you're talking about on MySpace?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that MySpace music player was probably the thing that that was actually probably the main thing that made it so I could tour around, because people could put music on their own page, but it was like you could put anything. It didn't have to be like a iTunes or Spotify playlist on there. It was just like I had a music page, or we had a Floss music page, and everyone started putting on mashups and remixes on their page. So we would go and so when you would go to someone else's page, they'd have our song on it. And that's like, that just spread us worldwide. That was like the thing. That was the original SoundCloud, all of that for us, that people nationwide were reposting it. And then that made it so people would want to see us when we came to their city. And yeah, if it wasn't for that little MySpace music player, I don't know. I don't know where I would be with my career.
I have a quick little AOL AIM thing. So Dylan Francis, who's killing it now or whatever, he back in the day somehow got my AIM. I have no idea how he got my AOL. This is before he was anybody. He would punish the shit. He would hit me up all the time. Please send me Amanda Blank acapellas. Send me Kid Sister acapellas. Can I get the whatever? Like he would just always hit me up. I'm like, this dude sucks. And he would always, I would give him stuff. He always hit me up. And it's funny, like the last era of AIM, I had him blocked. I was like, Dylan sucks. He's whatever. I don't want to talk to this kid again. Like he's just so annoying, whatever. And then it was funny years later, once he started blowing up, it was like, man, it's so crazy to see like his passion was so much there that he was just like wanting this, but now he's crushing it.
So when you did start touring off the love and affection you were getting from the board and MySpace music player, what are these parties like Get Out the Hood or Hollertronics or Peer Pressure? Like where else do you remember the cities and the parties you were playing?
Yeah, I mean, the ones that were, there was those established parties that were we all were doing the same thing, like you had mentioned. Like I remember the Rub was a huge one too, but the crazy thing is we never played the Rub. Like we always talked about it, we never played it. That was like one I always wanted to play. And they were one that they had one, we had one. I'm trying to think who else is doing it. What other ones were there? I mean, Peer Pressure was the other one.
Well, Check Your Ponytail was.
Yep. Did that. We played Check Your Ponytail, but that wasn't like a mashup thing. Because that's like Peer Pressure was like kind of a similar thing. They had Hatchmatic and A-Rock, and we had Josh and I, and then there was like Ayers and Cosmo and Diplo and Mike. And like, so all of these like parties were very similar.
But not just like similar ones. I'm saying like you did Cinespace Tuesday, I'm sure.
Did Cinespace. I played, that was AM's party? What was AM?
Banana Split was AM's.
We did Banana Split, and that was like super milestone for us at the time. I'm like, I can retire. I played Banana Split. The Too Many DJs dudes were there. They came out and they were like gods to us. I was like, oh my God, Soulwax is here. And they came out to the night we were playing. And I was like, I don't want to, like, I was so stressed, like trying to put the needle on the record. What other ones? It's so wild during that time. I'm trying to like go back and like remember like the established.
Sloppy Seconds in Atlanta. Did you do
Oh
that?
my God. Yeah. And that's where, Caleb and Clever, of course.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Sloppy Seconds was actually, thank you for reminding me. I'm sorry, I can't remember all this.
No, I mean, I figure we all played the same circuit to some.
Yeah. Sloppy Seconds was so lit. And it felt like, to me, it felt like what we were doing in Chicago, because there were so many like Southern hip hop kids, like super punk, like grimy punk kids. And then of course, like the hipsters and stuff, but the crowd was just a mix of the most opposite like cliques of human beings, but they all came together and were turning up together. And it was like, it just felt so it felt so awesome. Like I just remember how amazing it was to see so many different types of human beings in one place. Just like,
I always loved playing in Atlanta.
oh yeah, I still to this day I love it. Yeah, the small town DJs, of course, playing their club and playing hi-fi and also just going there. Like they always brought us out, always supported us. They had this similar party to what we were doing, and it was like, even to like, so that era, the mashup DJ Flosstradamus was Floss 1.0, and the like trap EDM stuff that we're doing, we call it 2.0. And that was like, they supported us in 1.0 and in 2.0. They've been around for so long, even to this day, they're still crushing it. And of course, my gay husband and Tony and Tyler and all of those kids in Vancouver, that Vancouver became my second home. I've like always loved Vancouver. They always brought us up there to their parties. And my gay husband as well played, and Hannah as well. They were all kind of like the DJ's crew there.
Yeah.
And we played some grimy venues there, but they were just always so lit. It was, man, Canada was like the spot. We always
Fucking nuts.
Canada was always amazing. And like Team Canada DJs also brought us up too. And that was like DJ Grand Theft, who was also on the board. I forgot who else was on that. I think one of the dudes who's in Keys and Crates now was in Team Canada DJs as well. Yeah, a lot of those people were all met through the board, and it was just, yeah, all of those cities, every one of those Canadian cities was always just so open-minded and just accepting. Yeah, I love that. I don't know if you are talking to Four Color Zach on this at all, because him and Clayton, which was Pretty Titty, they brought us up to Seattle for their party. They were doing a similar thing too. Actually, I remember though, maybe because they released on Hollertronics, I think.
Yes.
And then I was gonna say Karma Loop too was a huge one.
Yeah, they're on this flyer.
Yeah. So, and boosted. That's what Boost did. Yes. There you go.
Any fun, memorable, standout moments from this era?
I mean, Studio B, of course. Like seriously, like the photos you showed me of that night. Like I met my Studio B actually taking it back to another thing. I played with Chromeo at Studio B. We did a tour. Chromeo brought us on tour, and that was the same era. And we played a lot of those parties you were mentioning. We played Cinespace on that tour, played whatever Hatch and them were doing in Canada at that time. I don't think it was Peer Pressure, but they were doing another thing. DL from that in Canada too, and the Peer Pressure, he brought us up there. But that Studio B show with Chromeo, I met my girl that I was with forever there. And then when I ended up moving back to New York, or when I ended up moving to New York, I lived a block away from Studio B for 8 years. Like that, I don't know, something about Studio B had this like magnetism, and I've had some of my favorite memories there.
It's fun to see the joy on everyone's face from doing this.
Oh my God.
I would say
what you're doing is that. No, I was thinking that a few minutes ago, how good I'm feeling from this. Like nostalgia, of course, is one of the best feelings ever, but I don't get to like revisit it. Like you kind of have to revisit it with somebody, or like there has to be an experience to bring it back up. Like, and this is doing that. Like you're bringing this out of me, like all of these amazing memories that I've just like since forgotten. And I want to thank you for doing this in general, but thank you for like also like making my day today. This is like really like making me feel. Yeah, because you and I could even keep going, and you keep planting all these seeds. Like, oh, I forgot about that, and expand on it. Like there's so many of us that have had all of these wild memories, and it just takes you like bringing it out. Yeah, just being young and just running around, getting drunk, drinking Sparks. I don't know if you remember Sparks.
Oh my God, wait, I'm going to show you something insane I just found.
Go.
Still in the packaging.
No,
this is
you are not going to.
Sparks keychain.
No way.
Yes, in the package. I never took it out. It's a Sparks.
Oh my fucking God. Is that a light? What is that? A USB? Is it a flashlight?
I think it is a flashlight, but I don't know how to
Yo.
I don't know how to turn it on. It's probably dead, but yeah, it is a flashlight.
Oh my God. I wonder if those are on eBay.
Probably.
Oh my God. My friend, this is the crazy thing. My friend lives in this loft that he's lived in forever. and they used to throw parties, whatever. He was like cleaning a bunch of stuff, going stuff. He found a sealed, unopened Sparks can. In 2021, he has a unopened Sparks, and we're like, one day we're just gonna crack this open and drink it.
That's why you were like, you thought I was gonna break out a Sparks can.
I thought you were. I was waiting for you. You're like sealed. I thought you were gonna break a 6-pack out. Oh my god. Yeah.
I have flyers with Sparks on them, like my early events with Holotronics. All were sponsored by Sparks.
Yeah, my summers of probably 2003, maybe or 4, 2003 or 4 till 6 were just fueled with Sparks. I don't think I slept. I might have slept twice that whole time. Like,
Number 4 and 5 have a lot of Sparks or Red Stripe as sponsored by.
Speaking of bands and songs, because of the Frankie's Chan connection, and I was friends with Matt and Kim because I was in a band, like I said, I was in a band called Hyper Viper. Matt and Kim opened. This whole era, actually. This is what happened. I'm gonna take it back, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. So there was another dude in Chicago, Johnny Love. I don't know if you know who that dude is, but Johnny Love also was in Guns and Bombs, which was like a blog house group.
Yeah.
And then what else is he in? But he was like kind of like, he did this thing called Opaque Project in Chicago. And it was a loft party series. And because of this one loft party, it like changed everything. So I was in this band Hyper Viper playing drums, kind of DJing on the side. Johnny Love threw a party. It was Matt and Kim opened for my band Hyper Viper. Josh from Flosstradamus showed up and we DJ'd for the first time together at this loft party and kind of started doing the Flosstradamus thing.
Wow.
Matt and Kim that night, they played early. We did the Hyper Viper show. Then I DJ'd late. Kim from Matt and Kim was like, oh my God, this is so dope. I'm like a Flosstradamus fan, whatever. She got into that. And then I became super good friends. I'm like best friends with Kim. Like we hang out all the time. Matt and Kim are my like homies. And to this day, but if it wasn't for that one loft party, all of this wouldn't have happened. And that was one of the last Hyper Viper shows. So I quit Hyper Viper, focused on Flosstradamus. And then we started doing the Flosstradamus thing. And then eventually, to bring it back to why I brought this up, is through Matt and Kim and Frankie Chan, we remixed Matt and Kim's song, Yeah, Yeah, which was like a little dance punk song that they did, but they wanted a remix of it. So then I did a remix of it. And it's so cool because that's the first official Flosstradamus song that we put out, was a remix of Matt and Kim. And it was an actual official song. It came out on CD and iHeart Comics put it out. And what's so cool with that song for me is it encapsulates, even to this day, what the Flosstradamus sound is for me. Like so it's like, be more, it feels like Where's Your Head At? The song, I kind of copied like the chord progression of Where's Your Head At? It feels like Where's Your Head At, which we played in our sets. It has Be More Drums, which we were trying to bite the whole swag of that. And then it has
Where's Your Head At?
Yeah, yep. If you listen to the Flosstradamus Yeah Yeah remix, I just straight up tried to bite the whole Where's Your Head At Basement Jaxx song. Because that was another song from the era that always went off. So I tried to bite that. I tried to do Be More Drums over it. And then I even added a trap breakdown in the middle. And it was the first time I was even trying trap. So it encapsulates, it was like the seed of what Flosstradamus music is in this one song. And it all ties into all of these weird little connections we just had in that era. These innocent, just like, let's just be friends and make music and do parties. And like the thing that all of your interviews and stuff are about, this just like innocence that was there that like, I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's here now, but I'm also older and doing different things. I'll say another cool Floss moment I'm just thinking about was because Lollapalooza was in Chicago, they didn't ever do like the Perry stage, which is like the DJ stage. And they did like, all right, we're going to kind of do a DJ stage. It was a folding table on this little stage to the side of Lollapalooza. And it was Perry Farrell. He loved DJing, so he played it. He probably headlined it or something. It was us. We did a Flosstradamus set. Kid Sister did a set.
Where was that?
What's up?
What year was that?
Oh my God, it was. I gotta find this. But and then it was also Chick 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 played it. They were like on the dance stage. Chick 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 played, and I just remember it was so dope for me. I mean, it's just a proud moment or whatever. We were the first DJs to play Lollapalooza and do the Perry stage. And then on just some like whatever humble brag or whatever, we are able to headline it as well. We were able to headline Perry's stage eventually in our career. So for me, being from Chicago, being able to play the first Lollapalooza, and for them to accept this, what we were doing was so dope. And then also to come back and finally like headline it was just like such a big moment for me.
I feel like we covered a lot, Curt. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Seriously, this was, like I said earlier, but this made my day. Thank you for
Bringing up those memories.
Cool.
awesome.
All right. Thank you.
Have a good day. Good to see you.
Thanks for hopping by. That's it for this week. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment, and stalk. Bounce, little kitty.